Assalamu guys, Irfan back again with another video, and today's video is going to be a really quick video. Essentially what I want to share with this video is a quick tip. If there are times when you need to take today's date and roll it back to the beginning of the month, or take today's date and roll it forward to the end of the month. So for this example, I'm assuming today actually is the 30th of April, but I'm assuming today is the 26th of April. Okay, so now the beginning of the month would be the 1st of April. So we need to figure out a formula that would allow us to roll this back to the beginning of the month. And we cannot just subtract 25, because that would be different from from each date. So we need to have a formula that's generic enough that will work with any date. And then from the 26th of April, we also need to roll it forward to the end of the month. Now April has 30 days, so the end of the month would be 30th of April. Next month, May, would have 31 days. February, depending on whether it's a leap year or not, would either have 28 or 29 days. So the end of the month formula again needs to cater for all those circumstances. So let's get started. So essentially what we are going to do is, like I said before, we're going to assume that today is, or the day that we are working with is the 26th of April. Okay, so now we need to be able to move it forward, move it back to the beginning of the month. Okay, so like I said, the first reaction would be take this date and you subtract 25 from it, and that would give you the 1st of April. But then supposing this was not the 26th of April, this was actually the 25th of April. So now you would suddenly realize that formula is not working anymore. So let's just go back to what we had. Now I'm just going to go ahead and delete this formula. Okay, now we need to come up with a formula that would be generic enough that would automatically figure out what to do, regardless of what date it is. Okay, so what we need to do is equal to, take this date and we're going to subtract day. And now what this does is it takes the 26th of April and subtracts 26 from it. Okay, now when you subtract 26 from 26th of April, essentially what you're doing is you're getting the last date of the previous month. So we add 1 to it, and that's all there is to it. Now let me just zoom in here. Day gives you the day. So in this case it's 26th of April, so the day function will give you 26. All right, so we are subtracting 26. So this formula is generic enough that will handle any date that you have here. So if you have the 25th of April, let's go ahead and put that in there. See, it still works, because what it's doing is what this formula is doing is taking the 25th of April, subtracting 25th from it, essentially giving you the last date of the previous month. You add 1 to it, so you're moving forward, so the first date of the current month. Okay, now let's see how we would do the same thing for the similar thing, not the same, but the similar thing for the end of the month. Okay, now here we need to, if you see, we need to add something to it. Now one way to do this would be just add 5 to it, and that will give you 30th of April. But that would not work with every date. So if, like previously we had the 26th of April, see how that breaks. Now you're getting the 1st of May. You're not getting the end of the month for April. So we need a formula that's generic in nature, that will figure out whatever needs to be done, for this date, regardless of what it is. Okay, so let's just get into this. So now let me just control C here. Now you notice we are adding 5, so that gives you a hint that you want to add something here. Now over here we were subtracting because we were going back. Here we would be adding something because we would be going forward. Okay, so this date plus, now some days have 30 days, some days have 31 days, and February has 28 or 29 depending on whether it's a leap year or not. Okay, so if we add 28 days, that would not handle February, which may have 29 days. If we add 30, that may not handle months that have 31 days. So let's go ahead and add 32. Now what this would do is, this would essentially handle all the different type of months we have: 30 days, 31 day months, or 28, 29 day months. Okay, now if we were to leave it at that, see what happens. I'm going to hit enter. It has gone forward, but it's not the beginning of, it's not the end of this month. Okay, so now what we do is, you're going to subtract day plus 32. Okay, and hit enter. That gives you the end of the month. Here's essentially what it's doing. When you're adding 32, you're basically going into the next month. Okay, now if you remember this example, that if we did not do +1, it took you to the end of the previous month. So when you're adding 32, you're going into the next month. But when you subtract the days, number of days, it brings you back to the previous month's end of month. So adding 32 took it into May, and then you subtract 26 plus 32, it brought you to 30th of April, brought you back to the end of the previous month. In this case, happened to be April 30th. So that's essentially how you can do end of the month or beginning of the month, regardless of what date it is. Now let's test this. Say for example, we are not sitting in April. Let's see January 1st. Okay, so you see the beginning of the month is January 1st, end of the month is 31st of Jan. Now if this was February 1st, what happens? Now 2016 was a leap year. And I intentionally took 2016, not 2017. Okay, just to show you that this formula would be smart enough to handle a leap year. Now 2016 was a leap year, so the end of the month for February was not the 28th, but was the 29th of February. So it was able to figure out the first of the month, the beginning of the month, end of the month. Now if you were sitting on the 15th of February, it would still work. Beginning of the month is 1st of February, end of the month is 29th of February. Okay, now let's go to March. 1st of March, beginning of the month is 1st of March, end of month is 31st of March. Now it could be 19th of March, it would still work. Okay, now let's try February 2017, because we saw that February 2016 was a leap year. Let's see what happens if it's February 2017. This should be 28. Okay, and our formula should be smart enough to figure that out. There you go. Now it was able to figure out that 2017 is not a leap year. Since 2017 is not a leap year, end of the month would be 28th of February and not the 29th of February. So just to recap, if you want to go to the beginning of the month, you just subtract the number of the date and you add 1, because if you don't add 1, essentially what it does, it takes you to the end of the previous month. And if you want to go to the end of the month, current month, you add 32 and you subtract you take the sum of the date and you add 32 and you subtract it from the current date after adding 32 to it. So basically what you do is you add 32, it takes you to somewhere in the middle of somewhere in the next month. But this part here, just like they did over here without adding 1, it takes you back to the beginning of the previous month. So that brings you back to the current month. So that's a very quick way to do some date calculation if you want to go to the beginning of the month or to the end of the month. Regardless of what month it is, regardless of what date it is. All right. That's all for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please kindly give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you.